Die with Zero by Bill Perkins, a WealthWorks summary. Introduction. The book that challenges everything. Every other book in this series tells you to save more, spend less, invest longer. Die with Zero tells you to spend more on the right things at the right time before it is too late. Bill Perkins is a hedge fund manager and energy trader who has spent decades watching wealthy people accumulate money they will never spend. He watched his friend's father, a man who spent his entire life saving, die at a relatively young age with millions in the bank and almost no memories worth keeping. Perkins's conclusion: dying with a large unused bank balance is not success. It is a failure to convert money into experiences while you still could. Die with Zero is the most provocative book in personal finance because it attacks an assumption that every other personal finance book reinforces, that more savings is always better. Perkins argues it isn't. Chapter 1. Maximise your life experience, not your bank balance. Perkins's central framework. The goal of money is to maximize the total fulfillment of your life, not to maximize the balance of your account at the moment you die. He calls this net fulfillment, and he argues it has a time dimension that most financial planning completely ignores. A dollar spent on a ski trip at 25 is not the same as a dollar spent on a ski trip at 75. The 25-year-old has the health, the energy, and the relationships to fully enjoy it. The 75-year-old may not. His concept of the memory dividend is central. Experiences generate returns in the form of memories, which you can revisit, share, and build on for the rest of your life. A great trip taken at 30 pays dividends until you die. Waiting until 60 to take the same trip means you receive 30 fewer years of that dividend. The action: think of one experience you have been postponing for a more financially secure future. Calculate the memory dividend you have already lost by waiting. Is this the moment to stop postponing it? Chapter 2. Invest in experiences early. Perkins is not saying spend everything. He is saying spend at the right time, and the right time is almost always earlier than most people think. He introduces what he calls the three dimensions of wealth: health, money, and time. At different stages of life, you have different combinations of these three resources. When you are young, you have health and time but limited money. When you are middle-aged, you typically have health and money but less time. When you are old, you may have money and time but declining health. The optimal strategy is to convert money into experiences during the periods when you have the health and relationships to enjoy them fully. Most people do the opposite. They save aggressively in youth and middle age, planning to spend in retirement, and discover that retirement age experiences are often less rich than the ones they could have had earlier. The action: identify which of the three dimensions, health, money, or time, you currently have most of. Design your spending to use what you have most of before it declines. Chapter 3. Why dying with zero is the goal. The title of the book is not literally about dying with nothing. Perkins is not suggesting you blow your savings recklessly with no concern for the future. He means something more precise. By the end of your life, you should have converted most of your accumulated wealth into rich experiences, meaningful gifts, and deliberate generosity, not left it sitting in accounts unused. He challenges the common assumption that leaving money to your children is inherently good. Research shows that the best time to give children money is not when you die. It is when they are in their 30s or 40s, when the money can meaningfully accelerate their lives. Most inherited wealth arrives when the recipients are already in their 50s or 60s, past the point where it could have made the greatest difference. The action: if leaving money to your family is part of your plan, consider when that money would be most valuable to them, not when you die, but when they need it most. Can you give some of it earlier? Chapter 4. Use the bucket system. Perkins recommends organizing your life into time buckets, distinct periods of life, each with different capabilities and optimal experiences. 20s, adventure, exploration, physical intensity. 30s, building relationships, family, career experiences. 40s, peak earning and spending power, travel, significant experiences. 50s, slowing down, more reflective experiences. 60s and beyond, comfort, legacy, generosity. The point is not that these brackets are rigid. It is that certain experiences are better suited to certain life stages, and waiting too long for the wrong reasons means some experiences disappear entirely. He also introduces the concept of time bucketing your spending. Rather than saving a fixed percentage forever, think about the experiences each decade of your life most calls for, and budget accordingly. The action. Map out your life in 10-year buckets. For each bucket, identify 2 or 3 experiences that would be most meaningful and most appropriate for that stage. What would you regret not doing in the bucket you are currently in? Chapter 5. The Balance Point. Perkins is not anti-saving, he is pro-intention. His framework acknowledges that you need a minimum level of financial security at every stage of life. He calls this the survival threshold, the amount you need to maintain basic financial stability. Below this, you should save more. Above this, you should think carefully about whether additional saving is creating value or just accumulating. He also acknowledges that health is the ultimate constraint on experience. Near the end of life, money often cannot buy meaningful experiences because the health to enjoy them is gone. This is the core tragedy he is trying to prevent. Working hard, saving diligently, and then being too old or too ill to spend what you have built. The solution is not to stop saving, it is to be intentional. To have a plan for your money that includes spending it on what matters, not just accumulating it indefinitely. The action. Calculate your survival threshold, the minimum you need invested to feel financially secure. Then ask, what is the money above that threshold for? If you don't have a clear answer, that is the planning gap this book asks you to close. A note at the end. Die with Zero is a deeply human book. It is not a rejection of financial prudence. It is a plea to use financial prudence in service of a fuller life. Bill Perkins' central question is one worth sitting with. When you imagine yourself at the end of your life, what do you think you will most regret? Not spending time with the people you love? Not taking the trip? Not making the leap? The money in your account at the moment you die is a measure of experiences you chose not to have. Make those choices consciously, and make them while you still can. This has been WealthWorks. If this was useful, subscribe. There is more where this came from.